epidemic in the church. We've made a third road in Christianity. We've made the carpool lane. So Jesus said there's a narrow road that leads to life, and few people find it. It's a difficult road. He said then there's a broad road that leads to destruction, and the broad road pays through the church that treats God like the Broadway. We treat church like a Broadway show. No wonder we're on the Broadway. We watch and sit back, and we sit in our chairs, and we watch the worship and go, oh, that's great. I didn't like that song, as if the song was about you. It doesn't matter if you don't like the song. We're not here to worship you. We're here to worship God. It's not really my style. Your style doesn't matter. His power and his presence matters. We're not here to lift up Isaiah. We're here to lift up Jesus, the name that is above every name, that there is power to heal in his name. All day long, he says, I waited for a rebellious people that did not call my name. God, where have you been? God says, where have you been? God, why haven't you reached my family? God says, why haven't you reached your family? God, why haven't you delivered my aunt? God says, why haven't you delivered your aunt? Why haven't you healed my friend? God says, you never laid hands on them. You put their prayer request in a note on your phone that you've never even brought them up to prayer. You've never even walked out in this thing, and you're living on the carpool lane, and you think there's three roads. So we have the narrow road, which is that some of you are like, I just wanted to come to a nice church. Well, come back next week. Who's this guy screaming and shouting at me? It's called fire. We should try it. He says there's a narrow road that is difficult. Few people will find it. This is in answering to the disciples saying, how many people are going to be saved? Because we're out here like, just pray the prayer, everybody's saved. And Jesus goes, I'll tell you, there's a narrow road that leads to life. And then there's a broad road that in the end is that of destruction. And he says, you want to know what? To the disciples, do you know where most people are on the broad road? He's not talking about unbelievers. Unbelievers are lost. They're not even on a road. They're just going to hell by default. Your default destination is hell, and you ought to be thankful that the cross rerouted your destination and said, you don't have to go to hell. I made a way where there was no way. You're like, oh, I can't believe God sends people to hell. No, by default, that's where you're going. Because you were born in sin, shaped in iniquity, but because of what Christ did, he reconciled you back to the Father. Now we have the broad, I'm the broad road Christian. Are you a broad Christian? Is your Christianity difficult? Is it like, man, it's hard. Guys, it's hard being a Christian in this culture. There's so much distractions. Every day there's a million things fighting for my attention. And God says, I'm a jealous God. And we read the Bible and go, oh, they just worshiped all the time and prayed all the time because they were bored because there was no Instagram or TikTok.